So, we're going to try to make this video again. Now, originally, I uploaded a pretty good video dealing with a question that somebody put on one of my recent videos. I think the user's name was the Solarizer, and he was asking me what did I think of, the crimestat system. The annoyances, I guess, that sort of thing. I don't really see the crimestat system as a problem or an annoyance if you get a certain amount of crimestat, all the way up to 5. And as you can see, I've been farming up crimestat for quite some time. And it's just a regular thing that always happens. And when I originally recorded this, I kind of went off on a huge tangent. And I thought it was good, but then I watched it and I went, probably not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get away from that. And I'm just going to kind of explain how to get rid of crimestat. Super, super easy. I mean, you probably may have already figured this out. And I think I did a video on this quite some time ago. But you don't need to go to Korea. You don't need to do any of that stuff. And what it does is, I'm going to kind of pull back a little bit on the original video, but what it does is it implies that there could be a problem with the crimestat system as it's envisioned and as it's been explained to us along with Death of a Spaceman. But I'm going to kind of pull back a little bit on that and just say that first off, I'm going to kind of show you how to get rid of crimestat really, really easy. And then moving on from there, I'm going to talk about kind of what this implies for the future of the game and some of the questions it raises, and we'll leave it up to CIG to hopefully answer those questions. So first thing, we wake up, here we are in Grim Hex. I actually have full crimestat rating, but since I'm in the Grim Hex jurisdiction, I only have 4. As soon as I pass out into UEE jurisdiction, you'll see it go up to 5. So you go through this whenever you have, okay, that's weird, but whenever you have crimestat, you'll sit there and you'll go, oh man, this limits the emissions that are available to me. I don't know where I can and can't go. This really sucks. What do I do? Now you got to go, oh, I got to get the little hacking things. I got to go all the way to Korea, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. No, you don't. So here you can see I'm passing on to UEE jurisdiction. Boom, 5-star crimestat rating. So what do? You just start warping around in the system. You can stay around Crusader. You can go to one of the Crusader, that's where I ended up getting it, L4. You're looking for an interdiction. You're trying to get the police to interdict you. Now you can get interdicted by the Nine Tails. You can get interdicted by an asteroid. You can get interdicted by an asteroid with the Nine Tails. There's plenty of different interdictions out there, but you want security forces. You want Crusader security. You want Hurston security. You want R-Corp security, I guess, the advocacy, whoever. Those are the people that you want to interdict you. And once you find that interdiction, that is a gold mine, because as soon as that interdiction triggers for you, and here's where it triggers for me when I went to Crusader L4, as soon as you get that, you can pretty much get up from your PC, take your hands off the keyboard, and, just, stop your ship first. Then take your hands off the keyboard and just go get a drink, go to the bathroom, go fix yourself a snack, whatever. Because by the time you get back, your crimestat is going to be completely erased. All you have to do is just let them kill you. So here's basically the part of the crimestat system that I'm a little bit worried about, that I don't really like. And that is, let's say you get a certain amount of negative reputation with the local police, and eventually you just say, you know what, it's too much of a hassle. I'm just going to let them kill me. Boom. And then I'm just going to, remake my character and then just inherit all the stuff onto that character. Your reputation isn't really going to persist through that. It really can't, right? You can't sit there and say, well, in the Star Citizen universe, we deem you guilty by your genetics. We're moving into some pretty bleak territory there. So I don't think that they're going to go with that. They may go with like a soft reputation system where it's like, if you're trying to build up your reputation with one group or another, they might say, oh yeah, we knew your uncle, he was a good guy, so we're going to allow you to, get up the reputation ladder that much faster because of that. And maybe the police, if your uncle was a pirate and inherited all the stuff down to you, would say, oh, you've got a bad rep, but you're not a criminal yet, but we got our eye on you, so you might have to work extra hard to build up your reputation with the police. It may work like that. But overall, until you get to that point, if this is how you can just reset your crime status, I mean, if you really don't care about your characters all that much, then, an Aurora, which everyone has, is just a total throwaway ship. Probably costs nothing to insure, even if you don't have insurance on one. And you can just take it out into space and just boom. Oh well, crime stat reset. Don't have to go to Korea, don't have to use a little chip thing, so kind of a pointless mechanic. Now, in the future, things could get fleshed out, and so this could get, you would think it might get eliminated, but realistically, should it? Because if your character has just been executed by the police, haven't you technically paid for your crime? It's a weird question to ask. I mean, I know that there was a lot of people who were like, "Oh yeah, no, this Death of a Spaceman mechanic, this stuff is, it's awesome. It's the best." And it's just, I don't know about that. It leaves open the doors to abuse. Much more so than a persistent reputation in a much less realistic universe, like let's say EVE Online or World of Warcraft or something like that, where your character just kind of either returns to a clone or returns to their body and re-inhabits it. You still, your reputation still persists through those deaths. So your actions have consequences and have meaning, whereas, I mean, can you really be held, we're not just going to execute you, we have to double execute you. We have to triple execute you for you to pay for your crimes. Does that really make sense in the Star Citizen universe? I don't know. And that's where you it raises questions. How are they going to handle this? Now, the security system as it is right now, what they're kind of going for with all the hacking stuff and all that, it's cool. I like the idea of going and hacking booze to remove fines or, remove crime stat, that sort of stuff. I do like the idea, but the problem is because of this death mechanic and because of the fact that it has to reset your crime stat rating. I mean, are we going to kind of get into a place where it's just so much easier to just kind of go to wherever the police are and just say, ha, kill me, boom. And then you get all your shit back and you get your crime status removed. I mean, at face value, it sounds like a good idea, but the more you think about it, it does raise a lot of questions. With the current mechanics, there's a lot of broken things in the game. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. It's almost like a bit of a Judge Dredd universe. It's like, you have parked your ship illegally. The sentence is death, And so it's good that there's something like this in the game, exploit or not, where you can just kind of erase your crime stat rating for absolutely zero loss. I mean, oh no, I lost my Aurora LN, guys. What am I going to do? It's I don't know if it's really going to be an idea that works in the long term. I think EVE Online kind of hits the nail on the head in a way. I know that there's probably, people will be like, no, we don't need that and blah, 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 blah. I think that kind of works. Honestly, I think that the EVE Online system with the persistence of penalties and the persistence of negative reputations is probably a system that would lead to less corrosive behavior within the community. I'm not just talking about players attacking other players, because that's part of the game, right? But the kind of behavior that's excessive, ramming people on pads and just saying, oh, well, I'll just go out and let Crusader security shoot me and I'll just do it all over again. That sort of thing. I'm not really sure if this system works. I mean, Death of a Spaceman sounds good on paper, but in the game, I'm not sure that it's really going to work out for us. Now, I mean, you have to give it a chance, right? Like, once again, we are seeing an incomplete system. And here's where I'll stand up to, and defend CIG. I'm willing to let this one I'm willing to see how this pans out. Those are my concerns, obviously, but I'm willing to see how this pans out. I hope that they put some kind of a soft reputation system in place. So, where you have positive reputation with your previous character, that allows you and your new character to kind of accelerate your reputation gains with that group. Because, trust me, I know more than probably most people what it's like to have to regrind reputations again and again and again. I mean, yeah. So I would like to see a system like that, and maybe on the other end of things, where you previously earned a heavily negative reputation, then, the cops are going to clamp down on you that much harder and that much faster if you continue that through death. I think that would be a good idea if a system like that was in place, and maybe they do intend to put something like that there. But at the same time, I think it has to depend upon the crimes, because if you're just smuggling or things like that, I don't think it's something that should clamp down on you all that much. But if you're doing things that are corrosive to the game, to the spirit of the game, things like just, denying people access to play the game in the first place, or, just ramming their ships on pads, things like that, then I think that that's where a very negative result should come in. But for just regular, gameplay, the way the game is intended to be played, I don't think that it should clamp down on you all that hard, So that really is my big concern. In a universe where you can kind of go and just let the police gun you down, and it's really, what's the penalty? Nothing. It's just a minor inconvenience, versus having to go get a hacking chip, go all the way to Korea, have to fight your way through probably like 10 people with shotguns or whatever, and roll the dice to see if you can remove your crime stat. You can just grab a shitty ship and you can just fly out into space and get interdicted by the cops and just say, oh, well, there goes my crime stat. Everything's hunky-dory now. A system like that, I see where the intention is, but that's what my concern is. But if it were to stay the way it is now, then as a pirate, that kind of works for me, but I don't know if I really I want that in the game. So I wonder about maybe a different approach. That would be my concern. But I'm willing to wait and see how this one pans out. It's not like hover mode where it's just like, are you kidding me? This is something where I'm cautious, but I want to be optimistic about what the future of this game, what the developers are intending to do with that. Those would be the questions that I would raise if I was sitting in a room with the developers, though. We would probably talk about something else. Like cockpit views, you know what I mean? But, yeah. Cautiously optimistic, though concerned, would be what I think of the crime stat system in the game right now. I hope you like the answer to that question, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.